Let's close by asking our reporters to share a little tidbit from their notebooks and help keep you out ahead of the big political news coming up. Phil, I'm going to start with you.
So senators have been giving a lot of space on the Republican side of the aisle to try and figure out their differences on health care. Obviously, they're enormous. We've talked about that. That ends this week. I'm told that at some point during this week, leadership will come down and say, it's time to make a deal. The negotiations are over. It is now time to compromise, figure something out because we have to move forward. We've all known this moment is coming. Now we know when it's coming. Expected by the middle of this week, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Well, so negotiation over coming up.
Time to make a deal.
Abby?
Well, my colleague Lisa Rain and I have a story in today's paper about some nervousness among Republicans about the slow pace with which the White House is filling political posts. Many of them are saying there is no one there to implement the Trump agenda. And all that talk of deconstructing the administrative state has really gone out the window. This White House does, in fact, want to fill many of these positions. But there is some nervousness among the candidates about coming into a White House under siege by a number of investigations, by a president who doesn't listen to some of his aides. And so all of that is contributing to a little bit of a supply and demand problem for this White House in terms of staffing the government.
We'll see how that goes. Karen?
This week is a big test in the greater probe around Trump that's coming up in Congress, because the House Intelligence Committee has asked him to produce these tapes by the end of the week. And it's a test of the efficacy, basically, of the congressional investigation versus the credibility of the president. Because if he produces them, and if what's in them could either corroborate his story or Comey's story, but if he doesn't, can Congress really do anything about that? Can they just yell and scream and beat their chests? Can they subpoena if they're not sure that something exists? And the question is, where do they go from there? Because this has been a push-pull on several different rounds of this, and we're going to see how this happens on this issue of the tapes thing. And then, of course, there's the question of if they're not there or they're not produced, how many times can the president tweet about something in air quotes, you know, wiretapping, now
right.
tapes?
Yeah.
And people keep defending him as this just being a slip of the Twitter finger and not, you know, a poor judgment in terms of trying to divert attention away from what's
And he has said that whatever the outcome of the tapes will be disappointed. So we'll see what happens.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Jeff?
Well, this week the president is going west of the Mississippi for the first time since he's been in office, which is kind of unusual if you think about it. I mean, we're 5 months in here, but he's going to Iowa on Wednesday to Cedar Rapids, and his advisors hope he travels more. They're trying to get him to leave this bubble of Washington. They're trying to get him out of here, but for some reason he is not as inclined to do so. We're not exactly sure why that is, but he is going to Iowa on Wednesday. But last week I was with him in Wisconsin, and it's amazing when you look at the local news coverage. It actually is on the issues he's talking about. So we'll see if this week marks the beginning of a turning point of more time outside of the White House. I don't think it will, because he is inclined to stay here for some reason. But on a Wednesday in Iowa, he'll be there for the first time. Of course, that's one of the states he turned from blue to red.
That's right. We'll see if this is the start of a trend. And I'll close with Democrats. Senator Kamala Harris of California did herself and likely her party some good over these last weeks, creating viral moments with her tough and pointed questioning of administration officials. She upped her following on social media, got shout-outs on late-night TV, The View, and several black media outlets and women's outlets as well. That kind of outside-the-beltway buzz means Harris is breaking through and could be a big help to Democrats in 2018 as they look for fresh star power and as they look for someone who can bridge the party divides. She has helped fundraise already for Claire McCaskill, John Tester, and Elizabeth Warren, and I'm told she plans to do more of that coming in the future, and she'll also focus on one of her signature issues, criminal justice reform, in the coming weeks. That's it for Inside Politics. Thanks again for sharing your Sunday morning, and a very happy Father's Day to you. And John King, he'll be back in the anchor chair tomorrow at noon. Up next, State of the Union with Jake Tapper.